The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Y'all ready for this?
We are back. It is Wednesday, November 14th, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that means it's time for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host along with
Jeff Belknap.
And I got all that right for the first time in several weeks.
Yes.
With us on the engineering board, head honcho and owner of the studio, Mr. John Stiles, as always. Yeah, you feeling better, John? I know that flu is kind of put you. Yeah, I was hoping it was a hoo-ah, not an empty in you. Yeah,
What it sounded like.
I hope you're feeling better, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I know that flu set you back. Yeah. So this is, our second Wednesday in November. And, as you can see, we do have an in-studio guest, not a figment of your imagination. We're going to get to him in just a second. And just want to catch up with my homeboy here. How's it going, man?
Good.
All right.
You saw I wore the coat today?
Yeah. Listen, there was no memo thing or anything.
I think you shamed me into it because the last couple of weeks you showed up with a coat, and I'm like, you know what? I got to pull this thing out of the closet. Actually, this is straight out of the cleaners, too. I actually took it to the cleaners.
That's what's talking.
5-star dry cleaning and laundry. Plug for the boys.
Yeah, there you go. Listen, it didn't have anything to do with a dress code. It had a little bit to do with the fact that sometimes it gets a little chilly in here. And so I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to sit here shivering or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah. But so let's get to our in-studio guest, and somebody we've known for some time now.
Yes, many years.
And he was actually with us at the old studio. As a guest when we were just
like the old studio to the old studio. Like the old
studio.
We've been doing this for a while, folks.
But Mr. Anthony Bartlett, who is the head coach of the Reno Express indoor football team. Anthony, thanks for joining us, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And so as I mentioned, it's the Reno Express football team, indoor football team.
Yes.
Is this the first year for the Express?
Very first year.
All right.
Very first year.
Yeah. All right. So, we know Jeff and I know how these things kind of come together, because you've coached football not just at the indoor or arena. You've coached, NFL style, as well as, if I'm not mistaken, 8-man?
Yes.
Yeah, as well. So, and it's in Reno, but we know you live down here because just before the show, congratulations, by the way, you just bought a brand new home.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's start with, first of all, how you got involved with the Express and maybe a little bit also about the ownership.
Well, originally I was the regional scout for the Idaho Horsemen and the owner of Platinum Events and Security. We were sitting and discussing what leagues we were going to go into. Two viable leagues, the IFL and the CIF, logistically fit perfectly for Idaho, but we have to look at the dynamics on everything. So we figured we'd go CIF. Logistically it's better, financially it's even better, so we decided to go that route. Well, we attended the league meeting. They had it here in Vegas, and it was just one of those things where we didn't feel right about the CIF. Nothing against the league because it's still a viable, very competitive league. Just for what we were looking for as a franchise, it just didn't feel right for us. So we toyed around with the idea of possibly joining somebody, looking at the IFL. Then we said, no, that's not going to work for us either. So the owner, Chris Reynolds, he came up with the idea and said, you know what? I know some people who are still trying to get back into the game. So what's to say we create our own league? West Coast based, the travel, very centralized, so it's easier on everybody's pocketbooks. But we can still get that brand of football and keep it here on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was like, a light bulb just went over my head, and it just went bright. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I didn't even hesitate on it. So we started looking at areas. Well, Two of the other areas that are viable that have had arena football teams in the past: Yakima, Washington, and Wenatchee, Washington. Both solid areas. The fan base there is phenomenal for both of those regions. So we hooked up and talked to ownerships there, and they were on it. Didn't even hesitate. So we're looking for another area, and he mentioned Vegas. I said no. Don't even look at Vegas. I wouldn't touch Vegas with a 10-foot pole. And I live here. Go figure. But I told him Reno would be a viable fit, because we've had arena football in Reno. I was there. I know the market, and the market is screaming for arena football again.
Yeah. Yeah. So ultimately, what league did you do that you joined or has formed?
We formed the American West Football Conference.
Okay. And you mentioned Yakima, and you mentioned
Wenatchee. Yes.
So Reno, and there are any additional clubs,
And
locations?
then, of course, we have the Idaho Horsemen, which is based out of Nampa, Idaho.
Okay.
And we're looking at 2 potential areas. We haven't finalized that just yet, but it more than likely will materialize at some point.
So you're playing, it's going to be a spring season or an early?
It'll be a spring,
winter.
early summer season.
All right.
12 games, 6-6, home and away.
Okay. All right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So when does the season looking to kick off?
We're looking like toward the end of March, beginning of April time frame.
Right. I had a chance to go on the website, which, by the way, everybody, is GoRenoExpress.com.
Yes.
Yeah. And you listed tryouts are coming up for December 1st.
Yes, sir.
In Sparks, Nevada.
Yes.
And who should people contact if they're interested in joining the Reno Express? We're going to ask you this throughout the show.
Well, they can contact my director of player personnel. He can be reached at jjennings at GoRenoExpress.com, or they can contact me at abartley at GoRenoExpress.com.
Okay, excellent. So, I know that much like Jeff and I, at times, you've thrown your hands up in the air and said, I'm done. What got you back in the saddle again, man?
It's that passion for the game, and I'm one of those guys. I don't accept failure, and I've been part of unfortunate programs where the ownership wasn't stable, so the teams just kind of dwindled down.
Yeah.
Or it just didn't get off the ground completely.
Right.
And by me not being able to get my hands, I couldn't dig into it myself, and having been at this level of football since 2007, you kind of learn the ins and outs on the business side of it.
Right.
And a lot of the previous ownership that I've dealt with in the past would not listen to any of the advice that I'd give them.
What?
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Shocker.
I know, huh? Now because I'm good friends with other owners that are that have had success at this level of football, so I'm getting all the trade secrets on how to maintain
and how to keep it
running,
effectively keep it running.
And when I'm passing that information, it was just falling on deaf ear. Now, oddly enough, I meet with Mr. Chris Reynolds out in Nampa, Idaho, and this gentleman, he really listened to me. We sit and we talk, and this was before we even, took part in formulating the league.
Right.
Because I'd give him advice on what we needed to do to help build the Idaho franchise. And that franchise took off like a wildfire.
Well, you've been involved in some of these leagues where you're going to have that upper echelon. You have a lot of teams that will say, yes, we're here. And then, midway through the season, the expenses start to kind of pile up. And then suddenly it's, we're not going to be able to make that game. And, we're not going to be able to do this. No, we're not going to be able to do that. And the key that, we have found, and that's always been the tough part, is that, these have to be run like businesses.
Right.
Yes.
Not like a club.
Right.
They have to be run like businesses, and all of these owners need to come together and ensure that all of them are on the same plane, everything has to be lined up just right.
And that's one of the unique things. We had our first league meeting a couple weeks ago out in Tacoma, Washington. And one of the things that we really are focusing our efforts on are helping each other. Because again, we're just brand new starting. We're only as strong as your weakest link.
Oh yeah.
So we're all helping each other out. Where one may be falling short, everybody else is going to come in and join in and help lift that team up. So everybody's on an even playing field.
Well, I applaud you for not trying to start with 20 teams. It's one thing to have lofty goals, but it's another thing to have realistic, in which everybody is going to ensure that they finish the season,
Right.
and that there's also that that the teams are comparable in terms of strength. You don't want to have 3 or 4 great teams and then 2 teams that are just going to go out and get their brains beat
Right.
In every single week. That doesn't build a fan base, especially if you're that home team.
True.
And people want to see, some competition.
True. Well, I can honestly tell you, looking at the ownership for the other ball clubs and the people and the coaching staff that are involved, a good example, Keith Evans, he's in the Wenatchee, Washington. He and I have been formidable foes for many years. He's a brilliant coach, brilliant, and I owe him one. Because he thumped me pretty good our last meeting when he was the head coach in Ontario, California. But, we have guys like that who know how to recruit, who knows how to bring in, competitive talent.
Yeah.
And I look at Yakima and Warren Reynolds, very, very smart guy. He's definitely got that football savvy. He's very competitive. I mean, before we even started the league meeting, he was already talking about, oh, he had this one. This is all him. But me being me, and like I said, everybody knows how I am. I just tell them, hey, say what you want, but my championship ring is already designed, ready to go.
There you go.
So it is what it is.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, man, you coaches.
So that might be a good market for you. The Ontario's got a great arena down there.
Ontario does have a great arena. The hardest part about California is dealing with that workers' comp insurance.
Yeah.
And finding an
92%.
owner that can afford that workers' comp insurance.
It's a Buster.
Yeah.
And usually a deal breaker.
It is. I saw a team in New York, upstate New York, Glen Falls, didn't even get off the ground because the workers' comp was so high in the state of New York.
Yeah, but couldn't they cross over to Pennsylvania and do some stuff over there?
Jersey?
Not at all. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So like I said, they created their fan base. Everything was starting to look good, but when that workers' comp hit them, they had to fold their tent, and that's just one of those
brutal
things.
Yeah. In terms of the rosters, how large are the rosters typically on an arena team?
Our roster is going to be set at 25. Game day roster is going to be 21.
Okay.
And where are you getting the majority of these players? Do you already have like an angle for like particular guys you're looking for, or?
Well, I know in recent past, I had an exceptional amount of talent when I was in Reno that were local. Guys that played at UNR, Feather River, JC, a couple guys that came in out of like Sacramento, Bay Area, and what have you. Like I said, I had an extreme amount of talent, but as much as I would like to focus on local talent only, I know realistically in this business, I'm going to have to outsource.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to leave that window of opportunity open for out of area players. And there are some that are out there that are contacting me literally every day.
Well, it's a different type of when you're building a team in arena versus, let's say like normal 11-man football.
Right.
Because not everybody is equipped for arena ball.
Oh, no. That's I tell everybody the first day of every combine, not everybody is built to play arena football.
Because you're looking at speed and size.
Not so much as that. It's that wall. I've seen that wall turn many a men into women.
Yeah. Listen, I've been on the other side of the wall when somebody's come into it. I don't know. Honestly, it's I wouldn't be able to go out there. I'm not built for that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I've never been built for that sort of thing.
Right.
So
Well, I told
let's
us-
put that out there. It's not because I'm 61.
I told a story a couple of weeks ago. We had Jabari on, and about what happened one time where a pass was being thrown, and I was actually in the fan side. I was actually working the game, though, so I wasn't in the stands. And it was a perfect pass right to me. So I just reached up very calmly to catch the pass. Well, what I didn't see is the player coming for the ball, and he came over the wall.
Right.
I caught it. He pulled it from me, hit me, and I was able to, like, kind of shed him, so he didn't completely take me out. But the funny thing was, my wife was in the stands, and they played the replay 3 or 4 different times, and my wife was like freaking out because she saw this guy hit me. But actually, I think I took it pretty well. I mean, he didn't take me out, and it was a TV game, so I probably could have embarrassed myself if he would have taken me out. And the TV was right there, the replay camera was right there. So
well, it has its own background story on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I went to a few of those games as well.
Right.
And you feel the sensation when these guys are going and getting drilled.
Oh, it's full speed.
Yeah.
So just imagine what I feel like when I'm out there on the field as a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're coming right at you full speed. Sometimes I start having flashbacks, and I want to join in and just nail them.
Yeah. Well, you have to brace it, and I can tell you that I shoot video for high school football, and there's been times where players have come and like they're gonna hit me, and I put my shoulder out. I'm like, if you got equipment on, man, and if I put you down, that's your own bad,
It's on
Right.
you.
Right.
I'm not gonna try to just jump out of the way. I'm gonna put the hat on him too. So, but okay, so you obviously have a tryout coming up on December 1st. So that's going to be at Reno, in Reno.
No,
Yes.
Sparks.
In Sparks, well, yeah.
Reno, the
Yeah.
same area.
And then tell us a little bit about what they should be expecting, like if a player shows up.
Well, it's going to be ran pretty much like an NFL type combine for the most part. 40 L drill, 3-cone shuttle. We will have a bench press out there, so hopefully these guys do have some upper body strength. But then
Okay.
my main concern is the overall physical fitness of these guys.
Yeah.
If these guys are in shape or if they're just weekend warriors, trying to relive a dream. That's where we have to really separate the men from the boys.
And that'll happen.
And that will definitely happen.
Yeah.
And the way I run my combines, I run them like a military drill camp. I'm prior military, so my thing is mental warfare. You got to be mentally prepared to handle coming into camp with me. So if you can't handle it in the combine, you definitely won't handle it coming into camp.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, first of all, thank you for your service to
Yeah,
You're
to
welcome.
our country.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Yes, Air Force.
Yeah. Well, and
So you're just one of the smart ones. You can go ahead and say it.
ooh,
I thought I was smart.
waiting for
but,
John to come up from behind. There he goes.
I'm not
yeah.
wrapped
Yeah.
too tight, I can honestly tell you, my grandfather was retired Navy. My dad was in the Marine Corps, so me being the oldest, I had 18 years of boot camp.
Okay.
That's why I'm not wrapped too tight right
Yeah.
now. My brother, he's going on year 18. He's in the Army.
Okay.
And my son just made sergeant. He's 3 years into the Army.
Wow, my goodness! Again, thank your family.
Yeah, absolutely.
On our behalf.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
we really appreciate it. We know that with the rosters being as compact as they are, you really do have to kind of filter out the, as you said, we used to call them Joe Six Packs.
Yeah.
The guys that were pounding maybe a sixer before the game.
Right.
Yeah. And you saw how some of that stuff goes down.
Yes.
But at the same time, kind of building that first year team really kind of puts your stamp on the franchise itself.
Right. I have to go out and I have to send out a message to everybody, not just all the teams in my league, but I'm trying to send a message out to every team across the country. I plan on building the formidable team. I'm trying to build a team strong enough to where I can literally say, I would like to issue a challenge to the Arizona Rattlers. I want to show you who's the top dog now. Mm-hmm. I want to be that big fish in the ocean going after the bigger fish.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So, would you like to also talk about some of your staff? I mean, have you had a chance to build, some assistant coaches, coordinators?
Yes, I've enlisted some of my former players from the Barons. Antoine Barlow, he's my defensive coordinator. He was my backer back in 2011.
Okay.
And the reason why I chose him because he had that nonstop killer mentality. He was like the Predator, literally with the dreads, and he was out for blood every single play, nonstop.
Wow.
So I felt he would be fitting to run my defense because I call my own offense, but I felt like he would be the perfect person to run my defense. Christopher Henderson, he's my assistant GM, but he's also going to be my offensive line coach. Brilliant man, very aggressive on the offensive line. You would think he was playing defense, but he was actually, he actually played center for us. But he was very aggressive, smart individual. I have, Jake Skyver. I just hired him on. He's going to be my special teams and my wide receiver coach.
Okay.
He's got a great football knowledge. Corrections officer there up in Reno, and he also coaches at Spanish Hills High School as well.
Oh yeah.
So he's got like I said, football savvy. I like his demeanor. I think he and I would definitely work well. And with this being his first time in arena football, I can really just pass down a lot of what I know. Which is going to help him.
Right.
With his skill set. Then I have Troy Henson. He's going to be my DB coach. Like I said, he also coaches at Spanish Hills High School, but he's also in corrections. But
That's great. I see where you're going with this.
this is you're not taking anything. This is a no nonsense staff.
Right.
And it starts at the top, man.
Right.
So this is we sense a trend here.
Yeah.
And it's something we probably should have applied ourselves.
Are you saying we didn't?
We certainly tried.
Yeah, we did.
Also, we of course know that sponsors are essential.
Yes.
To football at any level. But how can folks reach you if they're interested in sponsoring the?
Or
the
partnering
Express?
is basically
Partner.
what
Very good.
Yeah.
Exactly. They are your partners.
For right now, everybody can reach me at my email address at abartley@renoexpress.com, or they can call me on my my line at 725-777-6683.
Okay. And I just want to look. There's also a link on the website, by the way.
Yes.
The Go Reno Express. There's a link for sponsors.
Yes.
Too, as
Yes,
well.
we're really trying to reach out to the community. I've been talking to several large corporations out in the area. Our first major sponsor, ITS Logistics, they came on board last week.
Very cool. Yeah.
We've partnered up with Dan Gustin Sports Production, and ironically enough, Dan Gustin did our production back in 2011, and I thought I can go back and look at his YouTube for all our games back with the Barons, and I think he did a phenomenal job with him and his co-host JoJo Townsend, who used to play for the New York Jets.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Like I said, they did a phenomenal job, and if you look at what they've done now, back then, and what they're doing now, because they do a lot of the local sporting events, high school and what have you. You can see, they've gelled. They're like Keith Jackson and Howard Cosell working together.
Or like Bill Miller and Jeff Belknap.
Exactly.
There you go.
But you get that feel. So when they're talking football,
Yeah.
You definitely get a sense that these guys know what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, so are there going to be plans to that people can tune into the games online?
We're working on that right now, and
Okay.
that's one of the great things about working with Dan Gustin, is he's going to help us go and point us in the right direction of where we need to go. I see a lot of the other leagues like the IFL, they stream all their games through YouTube. CIF does, I think they do YouTube as well. That might be the ideal way for us to go.
We can talk. I got some ideas for you guys.
Right. So, like I said, I'm just looking at, we're looking at all avenues.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. I mean, in terms of social media, how can people follow the Reno Express?
They can definitely look us up on Facebook, Reno Express Indoor Football. That will come up. You can find us on Instagram as well. We're putting it out there, and I'm telling everybody, like us, love us, share us. We're happy we'll be happy, You know, the more likes and the more shares we get, you know, the better we look.
Hey, well, listen, if I knew how to get involved in that sort of thing, I'd like you guys involved.
Well,
But,
I'll definitely.
it's nice that you have it.
I'll definitely be sharing all the stuff that you get.
There you go.
I am going to throw you a bone. This is something I suggest that you do. Reno basketball comes out preseason number 7. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Well, that's been the latest craze right now up in Reno. You know, they've taken over the airways over football, surprisingly enough.
Yep.
You know, 'cause
Yeah, it used
like
to be
I
the
said,
football was the big dog.
Reno was always the big dog
Yeah.
as far as football.
Yeah.
But basketball has really taken over. So
So this is my idea. So you can roll with this.
Okay.
I'm giving it to you right now. Get with the Reno basketball team. Get a table out there. Get your players out there. Hand out some stuff at the game. It's easy.
and that's definitely a go for that. I would definitely, you know, my equipment manager Danny Dutre, he's the equipment manager also for the football team.
Nice.
So I got an inside plug. So
There you go.
I'm gonna make a phone
I'm telling you,
call.
man, because I'm impressed. I'm impressed by watching this team. I watched them last year in the tournament here, the Reno team.
Right.
I'm not like a big I don't care. Like if everyone's either Reno, UNLV. I don't care. I live in Nevada. If a team's playing in Nevada, I'm rooting for that team.
Absolutely.
You know, that's where I'm at.
Absolutely.
You know, we have like a very few people that are actually doing stuff that's really positive. You're obviously one that's always been doing stuff positive in the neighborhood. You know, in Vegas, keeping some of the young guys off the streets that would normally be running the streets, and you know, working in security and doing everything else you're doing. Taking that up to Reno is a great thing. I think the market up there is perfect for a small sport like what you're doing, and I'm giving you guys props, man. I want to see you
Thank
guys
you.
succeed.
Thank you.
And you're in that, you know, your games are going to be played when people are going to really be hungry for something up there.
Exactly.
You know, it's too early for Reno football. It's too late for Reno basketball. And not everybody watches baseball, especially
Right.
at the collegiate level, although they should. I don't know why.
Well, they have a minor league team up there
The
too,
Reno
right?
Aces.
Yeah. But it's just a perfect opportunity for you guys. And needless to say, we wish you the absolute success, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for coming on to the show.
No,
We
wait.
really-
We got a couple more minutes.
Yep.
Can we do
go
the
ahead.
NFL thing?
Oh, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, hurry up
I
and
don't
do
know how
that.
the hell.
How'd you forget that one?
Yeah. Okay. The question, all of our guests, and now we're actually in the thick of football because
Yeah,
early on it was really, you know, people are just sort of like spitballing.
Right.
But we want to know Super Bowl 2019. Who are going to be the representatives? AFC, NFC, and then who is going to win it all?
Ooh, that's tough.
And wait, hold on. It's not really tough because you're 9 weeks in. We were asking people this 3 months ago when they had to throw something out.
It's before they even hit camp.
You know, unfortunately, you know, I got to support the NFC West.
Okay.
You know, I'm a Niners fan, but my team, they kind of bottomed out. You know, they got hit with that injury bug. But, I mean, the Rams look really good.
Yep.
They look really strong. They're balanced. Ironically enough, a good friend of mine, I've gone up against him in the arena world. He's actually working with the DBs for the Los Angeles Rams, Joseph Lee Jr.
Nice.
So I'm going to have to support the Rams coming out the NFC.
Very good.
Okay.
As far as the AFC, you know, see the Patriots, you know, you can't sleep on Tom Brady.
Right.
You know, you really can't sleep on him because he's known to pull a rabbit out the hat.
Oh, yeah.
However,
Dun, dun, dun.
Pittsburgh is really looking very
sneaking up.
well. They're
Yeah.
balanced.
Yeah, Ben's looking good.
And I'm not I don't like Pittsburgh. I can't stand them.
Okay.
But
Tell us what you.
it's a toss-up.
Candy coat, isn't it?
Pittsburgh, Kansas City, the Patriots, because the Patriots are looking good too. I mean, the Chiefs. I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs.
Okay.
Okay. So you've got the Chiefs and the Rams, Super Bowl 53. And who's going to wrap it up? Who's going to carry that trophy out, the Lombardi trophy?
More than likely it would be the Rams.
Rams, yeah.
They have a stronger running
Okay.
game.
Well, we'll find out because they play Monday night, and this time
Right.
game's been moved to the Coliseum because of the absolutely appalling field in Mexico City.
Oh yeah. So
Right.
I mean, It looked like one of those ones that we played down in San Diego with the.
I think it looked
Kings.
like Western High School.
Yeah, I think Western might look better, but but we may very well be seeing a preview of Super Bowl 53.
Could be.
Yeah, it's a definite preview.
All right.
Sounds
Well,
good.
again, thank you so much, Anthony, for
Thank
coming
you
in.
for having me, you guys.
Really appreciate it, man.
That's good.
And so we're going to take a break, but again, I'd like to thank Anthony Bartlett, head coach of the Reno Express. And for you folks up in Reno, you need to really get behind this team, brand new franchise in the American West Football Conference. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to switch gears, and it's going to be local pro basketball.
That's right.
Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. We'll be right back.
T-shirts, everybody wears them, everybody loves them. But now there's a shirt company that stands out above all the rest. A clothing company with positive and inspirational messages in the form of quotes. G-Quote Apparel. The quality and feel of the material is beyond anything you've experienced in any other shirt. Who but G-Quote Apparel would care enough to create casual to workout wear while inspiring your mind and soul? Visit them online at gquoteapparelcompany.com. Also note that any questions can be submitted to info@gquoteapparelcompany.com. G-Quote, the company with positive messages for those that know their worth.
We are back. Round two. Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host along with
Jeff Belknap.
And as you can see, this again is not a figment of your imagination. We actually have in-studio guests. And with us, we've got the ownership, head coach, and a couple of players from the Henderson Hawks basketball team. Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with my immediate right. We have the owner, Marcus Mooney.
Yes.
Owner of and you're part of the ABA.
Yes, American Basketball
American
Association.
Basketball Association basketball team. We have head coach Eric Vincent.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have point guard David Vasquez. And at the end, and yeah, believe it or not, he is 6'9", center. We have with us Vincent Maxwell. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. This is not the first time we've had the Hawks on the show. In fact,
third time actually, isn't it?
yeah, I think I missed one time, and it was back in the other studio.
Yeah.
And the season has started for you guys.
Yes.
And so you had your first game. I think it was on the 10th.
On the 10th, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the outcome of that? If I mind me asking.
We took the L.
Took the L.
We took the L.
Yeah, that was against the Nova Stars.
Yes.
Nova Stars. All right. And but I just want to let everybody know you do have a game coming up on the 24th.
That's actually, on the 24th. That's actually with the Las Vegas Royals.
Okay, not the Delta Stars?
No.
Okay. And you're playing your games at the Donald Reynolds Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, actually the Andre Agassi Boys and Girls Club.
Andre Agassi Boys
Yes.
and Girls Club. Okay.
Yes.
All right. But again, thanks, guys. We really appreciate you coming in. And let's start with you, Mr. Mooney,
Yes,
since
sir.
you're the owner. This is the first time I think you've been on the show?
Yes. Yes.
It's always been like your GM,
Right.
players, coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we appreciate you making it.
Well, I'm
tonight.
glad I finally got here.
So, how did you come about, establishing the Henderson Hawks?
About 6 or 7 years ago, I actually got the opportunity to coach for the Las Vegas Flames, and we started the season, and there were some hiccups, there, and so I decided to back off, and decided, told my GM, which was Rob, that came last time,
right.
that I wanted to start an ABA team of my own, and it took 5 years, and woke up one morning and happened to get an email from Joe Newman, the owner of the ABA, and said, "Hey, you want the market? There's a market open in Las Vegas," and because of the roller coaster in Las Vegas, I decided to go with Henderson. And so,
okay.
still in the Valley, but we wanted to get the Henderson name behind
Yeah,
us.
and for folks, if you're not familiar with how Vegas is laid out,
Yeah.
It's not like we're talking Long Beach and Van Nuys.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's relatively close.
Yes.
and it's easy to get around town.
But we
And-
still do, we're a Las Vegas love for Las Vegas.
Because you're playing in Andre Agassi's
Right.
Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
Yeah. So which is in Las Vegas. So,
Right.
Yeah. All right. Coach.
Yes.
And I know that you've already gone through your preseason, your recruiting. You've got your players. You've got your core guys on your team now.
Yeah.
As head coach, I mean, what are your goals in terms of the 2018-2019 season?
Oh, that's a good one. Just trying to get these guys to the next level, actually.
Yeah, amen.
A lot of these guys still have the opportunity to hopefully play overseas and get some good contracts over there and build themselves enough to where maybe get a chance to even get a G League or even into the NBA. So we have a long process ahead of us, but it's doable.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people, they may have certainly obviously heard of the NBA. Yes. And the G League. Yeah, I'd like to think so. And the G League. But, overseas now is a viable market.
Big thing now.
For athletes.
Yeah.
And you see it especially in the WNBA.
Yes.
The dichotomy between overseas versus playing, at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, excellent.
And in China, I noticed it's coming up.
Yes.
One of my buddies just actually went up there just to play, and he showed me some videos. Threw up like 68 points or something like that in a game. I'm like, man, what's going on here, man? They playing defense or what?
Well, I think Jimmer
Just
hit
threw up
72.
70.
72. Yeah.
And the market overseas is like insane. Where they're playing in just like they're playing in huge arenas out there. And they're getting 15, 20,000 people that's coming out to watch games and things like that. So it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So the players here on the semi-pro level are actually able to go out there and make great money. So you got some pros that are leaving the NBA to go play overseas now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, especially when you're talking about a roster where only 12 guys can play.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, that leaves a lot of other players to go and play in other teams.
Oh, absolutely. And now those markets are absolutely viable.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's get to the players. David Vasquez,
Yes.
point guard. Yeah. How did you come about joining the Henderson Hawks?
Well, I was a freshman in college last year, and college wasn't going the way I expected with classes and stuff. Like, they try to pick your classes for you. So I figured I was going to go I got offered a assistant coaching job in Arizona
Okay.
at Division I NAIA. But then Coach Marcus here hit me up before I signed that contract and asked me if I would be interested in training/playing.
It's a really funny story behind that one.
Yeah.
I actually went to meet him at the gym because he trains, like, he has a great training core that he does, ball handling, things like that.
Yeah.
So I was actually going to bring him aboard to train, our players.
Right.
And seeing ball handling, and next thing you know, he asked me, he goes, well, how do I get on a team? So I said, well, if you try out, you can play it. He came and did his thing, so it went from trainer to player.
Okay. Yeah.
beautiful.
All right. Yeah. Where are you originally from? Is it the Las Vegas area?
I grew up in Portland, Oregon.
Portland. Okay. Yeah, I always wonder how people end up in Las Vegas.
Right.
And in your case, I guess I just hung a right and drove for about 8 or 9 hours. Bam, you were here.
16 hours.
16 hours.
hours.
Yeah, well, I was clearly way off
Yeah.
on that.
I was going to say 9 hours.
Made halfway at least.
Yeah. So, what are your immediate goals for 2018-2019 season?
Well, as far as our team, we want to get that championship. That's the number one goal for the team, and just keep improving every game. I felt from our first preseason game to our first game, we made a lot of progress.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's always a work in progress, and I don't care who you are. Even the Golden State Warriors, it's a work in progress. All right. And so let's get to the big man, 6'9" center.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Maxwell, how you doing?
It's positive. How are you guys?
We're doing great.
Good,
Okay?
good.
Just hanging out.
I love it.
Yeah, every Wednesday we just sort of,
Why not?
come together. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, we have our own opinions. That's why we have a disclaimer at the beginning of the show. Because frankly, we really don't care about anybody else's opinions. It's ours are the ones that count.
Yeah.
All right, so what brings you to the Henderson Hawks?
Just a phenomenal opportunity. I went to school, Saddleback College, for 2 years.
Oh,
and then after
you're a
that,
Cali kid.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Riverside, born and raised.
Yeah, I was born in L.A.
Yes.
Inglewood High, yeah. El
Right
Camino
down-
College.
Down the street, I see it.
Yeah, all right.
Never knew. But after Saddleback, I went to Arkansas Pine Bluff for a year.
Oh, good.
Yes,
God.
sir.
Now, yeah, my family's from Arkansas.
Okay.
And I have an aunt and uncle that went to Pine Bluff.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Phenomenal people.
Sure we're not related?
No.
I was gonna
It
say.
could be. It's a long line. I wouldn't be surprised. Personality and everything. There you go. But with that being said, I came to Vegas shortly after Arkansas, and I found out about Marcus, and it was great meeting him. Phenomenal person, especially what he was representing at the time was kids and trying to put 2 and 2 together with character building and basketball at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And with that, with all that in the mix, how could you not just have the opportunity to actually build on what his thought and what his goal is?
Right.
So, the Henderson Hawks, I love that the fact that with not only does a goal, but with everybody that's in the group, I love the characters and everybody. It's not negative. You understand? And I feel like with everybody on the same goal and with the championship, like my man said, I don't understand how could we not get to our success.
Well, I the first time that Jeff and I met, I think it was a GM, and we realized that you're trying to establish something here, and it's not just about basketball.
Right.
It's also about giving these guys the opportunity, and that's what you
Say that again.
The opportunity to take your game to the next level, and that's and that's important, and that really is because we know that there are unfortunately people who are just looking for the here and the now,
Right.
and what they can kind of get out of these young men as opposed to kind of giving them a platform. One, you're never going to play basketball for the rest of your life. You're obviously already interested in coaching, and so those are things that you have to just kind of look forward to, and because not everybody can play, but they can teach.
Right.
Yeah, and then of course there are people who can teach but can't play.
Right.
Yeah, I mean I fall more in that category than the other. Yeah. So we mentioned the upcoming game on the 24th. In terms of tickets, what does it cost?
Yeah, usually our ticket sales go for $10.
Okay.
Kids under 12 are in free, and 12 to 15, I think it is $5.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah.
And that's over at the Andre Agassi Boys and Girls Club.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so your website, if I can.
Henderson Hawks.
HendersonHawks.com.
Yes. HendersonHawks.com.
How about social media? Are you guys active?
Twitter, Henderson Hawks. Or is it at Twitter or however it goes?
Yeah.
Henderson Hawks, and then you have our Instagram, which is at Henderson Hawks.
All right.
So
Yeah. Now we know that sponsors are, a key ingredient to all of this. Yes,
Yeah.
we've got in that one to absolutely.
call now.
So if you're
Click
a
the link
sponsor,
below.
there is a link for potential sponsors
Yes, there is.
at the website,
Yep.
and we highly encourage you guys if you certainly want to talk about local, people who are not only just playing here but living here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, we tried something different this year as far as bringing talent from outside of Vegas as well. So we ended up getting a team house this season where we're housing a couple of players that's from out of state,
Okay.
as well as actually getting these guys some money while they're playing. We added an element to our games now to where we have sponsors come in and they sponsor a $10,000 contest that we have at halftime.
Oh.
Yeah, so any sponsors that's out there that want to sponsor that, definitely hit us up.
Yes.
You're not sponsoring the $10,000, you're sponsoring the insurance money for the $10,000.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
So So there's a lot of things that we're adding, and we're really bringing it to a professional level. So we have a 5-year goal. Our 5-year goal is not only to see these guys get to the upper level where they want to go, but as well as Vegas eventually is going to have a NBA team.
That's going to be a fact.
Right. It's going to happen. And in that, they're going to need a G League team.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So what our goal is to have enough built up, fan base to where we get that call and say,
Well,
hey,
I'm gonna tell you right now, you better start sucking up to MGM, man, because they own the WNBA and they're probably gonna own the NBA team. So
Yeah.
you might as well start getting with them now.
yeah. So that's the 5-year goal.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, it's first of all, it's a noble goal, and Vegas, within the span of 2 years, has a professional soccer team, a professional women's team, a NFL franchise that's going to be here in 2 weeks, and of course the Golden Knights NHL franchise that made it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Right.
This is becoming
Don't
sort
forget
of
the A's that we're gonna steal from Oakland as well.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's amazing in just a short span of time
Yeah.
that the professional franchises that are now here in town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you folks practice at?
We practice actually at Hoop City.
Okay.
That's off of
Dean Martin.
Dean Martin.
Yeah.
And,
Are your practices?
Michigan guy, I like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Support the D.
Are your practices open to the public?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, because
Come out, check us out.
Yeah. Yeah, and because I think it's great if there's an opportunity for kids to come down and see how practices are conducted, especially
Well,
at the next level.
also people can actually go on the website, and on the front page of the website, you can subscribe to our newsletter. That newsletter goes out every Monday. We reach around 200 people, 200 to 300 people every Monday. So and it gives a breakdown on everything that's going on. But we definitely encourage people to come out, fans to support, hang out with us.
I noticed that you guys had the kids program on Saturday mornings. You guys still doing that?
We're revamping it right now, but we started the clinic, and the reason that we did that was to really train these kids the way that they need to be trained, not only on the court, but showing them mentally off the court.
Of course.
The mentoring is the key to it.
Absolutely.
The other thing is to give my guys an opportunity for, let's say they go play overseas and they're done, they come back and they need something to do. Well, it's a job offer right there, for them to come back and be able to stay in the groove of something that they like to do, which is basketball and working with the kids.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, we really appreciate you guys coming in, and we highly encourage folks to get a chance to go down and watch these guys. Go to the website HendersonHawks.com. Now, before you go, of course, we've got this question that we ask all of our guests.
We're gonna have to do it quick though.
And it's going to have to be a quick one. It has to do with the upcoming Super Bowl. Okay, we want to know from each of you your NFC team, your AFC team, and who's going to win the whole thing.
Well, I'm gonna start off by saying, unfortunately, I'm a basketball man. So,
There you go.
if my brother was sitting next to me, I'll have to say the Steelers.
For the AFC.
Yeah.
And the NFC?
My best friend, I say the 49ers.
40. Well, okay. So you're also a gambler.
Yeah. I think they're about 2,000 to 1 right now.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you obviously Steelers are gonna win it all. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to tell you who was going to win, but if those are your two teams,
The Steelers will win.
All right.
As for me, I have tunnel vision. I have cowboy tunnel vision.
Okay.
I'm a
It's
cowboy
unfortunate.
fan, and that's all I see.
Okay.
That's all I see.
Well,
Is there any other teams in the NFL?
Oh, there you go.
Who are they going to play in the Super Bowl?
Well, what you can do
Or I
is
should say who's going to beat them.
what you can do is watch get last week's game just over and over for 17 weeks, and you'll feel like you won 17.
There you go. Yeah. Ouch. Woo.
That's a good one.
As a cowboy fan, you have to endure and learn to have thick skin.
Right. And how to be 500.
Exactly.
What do you think?
Woo. Man. He's coming
Hey,
up
we're
with
friends,
heavy.
man. I can root this guy.
It's getting hot in here.
Oh my god!
All right.
What do you think?
I honestly don't even know what teams are in any division.
You're kidding.
I don't
Oh,
watch
no,
football,
NFL fans.
just
Well, like
basketball.
granted, you're up in Portland, and it's you mean, but surely you look north to
I guess
the team that's
Seattle.
won a Super Bowl, the Seahawks. I mean,
Yeah, I guess Seattle. I don't watch
Okay.
football at all.
all right.
Fair enough.
So you're definitely into the hoops.
Yep, just
All
straight
right.
basketball.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, big man.
Definitely have my money on the Steelers.
Steelers, okay.
Steelers. And who are they going to play? Please don't say the 49ers.
Not
Or
too
the
sure
Cowboys.
yet. Not too sure yet. I want
well,
the
you're
49ers.
from-
49ers. I want the 49ers, but
All right, I'm saying
this
where
is
you,
going to be a good game.
Yeah.
you want the 49ers.
Definitely.
Yeah. Where are you from again?
Riverside.
Well, can you think at least about the Rams?
No, from California. too.
YOLO.
I mean,
These guys are
hey,
going
listen,
to
I was off the Rams when they moved. I'm an LA homeboy. Roman Gabriel, fearsome force. Yeah, when they moved, was not a Ram fan. I became a Bucks fan. Yeah, but it's all right. So you're going to go with
Steelers.
Steelers. All right,
All right.
fair enough. All right.
There we go.
Well, again, thank you guys so much. We know that your season is already ramped up. We appreciate you taking the time to join the show. But you're absolutely friends of the show, and we want
Come
you
on
guys
anytime.
back on. And just let us know what's going on, whatever we can do to help as a show. to
Hey, if you
promote
guys,
everything.
honestly, if you guys want to come on before one of these games you got coming up, one of the big games, give me a shout. We'll
Well, this
find your
week is
spots.
going to be a pretty good game because we play the Las Vegas team.
Okay.
So it's
So what time does that game start?
that game starts that's a 4:00 game.
4
Usually
o'clock,
games
okay.
start at 7, but for some reason they scheduled this one at 4:00 on Saturday.
4 o'clock on Saturday?
Yeah.
This
Good.
Saturday?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's usually a good game because that's the battle of the desert.
Nice.
All right.
Come with energy, guys.
There you go. Hey, but again, thank you guys so much.
Oh, it's at
We really-
Tarkanian.
Yes.
Tarkanian. That one's at
Arcadia, right by
20.
Powell Station,
Yeah.
right there.
That's what
All
I
right, excellent. Well, folks, as always, this hour has just completely blown by, but join us next Wednesday. Well, let's see. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we'll
so-
probably come.
Yeah, we'll probably just come over here. Maybe have a turkey sandwich or two
There you go.
and discuss who got whomped this past weekend. It'll be 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it'll be time for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. Have a great week.
God bless.